All right, Superhero Stepdad back again with a nice 75 card order that just came back from PSA. It's all vintage cards this time. So let's see what we got. First up, 1935 Diamond Stars. Carl Hubble got a 2 with Mark. Where is it? There's something on the back. Was that the autograph that somebody else wrote? I'm not sure if that was the Mark or what, but that's what they got. 1948 Leaf Paul Trout got a PSA 3. I am not certain if he's related to Mike Trout. 1957 Topps Yogi Berra 3 miscut. Front's not bad, it's the back. As you can see there, it's pretty rough on that border there. Still not bad. Got this 1956 Frank Robinson, got a 1. All right. This card, I paid a couple dollars for it. I just wanted to get it slabbed. It's the 58 Hank Aaron, Mickey Mantle World Series batting foes. It's so rough. It got the authentic. I didn't think they'd give it anything other than such. But I mean, it looks like it has a giant burn marker and meteors floating into the atmosphere there. I'm not sure what. Yeah, I just figured it'd look better in the case. 59 Ernie Banks got a 2. Such a cool set. This one is a really great card, a 6 for the 59 Hank Aaron. I got this card raw at a card show a few months ago. I paid like 50 bucks for it, and it looked so clean and the centering was nice, so I was very pleasantly surprised and happy with the 6 that this got. 59 Buddy Ford gets a 5. Really good. A 4.5 on a 60 Ernie Banks. I mean, I don't know what makes him say 4.5 instead of 5 or even 4, but there's that. Stan Musial with a 4. Such a nice card. I have a few mini Minosos here coming up in this order. Here's the 1960, they got a 4. I feel like this order, I don't want to say they graded it extra rough or the grader was extra rough, because I had some of these cards, I had my pre-grades, and of like the first 25 or 30, my pre-grades were off by a total of 14 points. So we'll see. We got a 5 on Eddie Matthews, so it looks pretty nice. Roger Maris All-Star gets a 4. This looks so much better at first. The corner is a little rough. It has that line going down here. I'm not sure if that's common amongst this card, but you can see that. '62 Sandy Koufax gets a 4 with a mark on it. There's on the back, I remember I sent this in regardless, it has somebody, I don't know if the card without it was spelled, if they didn't spell out properly, or if they just traced the T over that, or what it was, but yeah, somebody wrote a T there or something, so that's that. Here's another Minoso, got a 5 from '62. I think I paid like $5 or $6 from this at a toy store that just randomly has some cards. Nice card. Ron Santo, '62, gets a 7. It's a really good grade for a card from this year. '1963 Tony Kubek, PSA 6. Picked this up down in Tampa earlier this year for like $1 or $2. It's in really nice shape. Here's a 65 Roberto Clemente, or Bob Clemente as the card says, O-Pee-Chee in a 3. When I got this, I didn't even realize it was the O-Pee-Chee. Whenever I was prepping it and everything, I noticed on the back and it said made or printed in Canada, and it's pretty much the only difference between this and the Topps version. I think the blue might be a little darker on this, but obviously the O-Pee-Chees are worth more because they're more rare, but I'm happy with that. Next stack. 65 Bert Campaneris All-Star Rookie in a 7. The card's really sharp, nicely centered. I think I had this pre-graded as an 8, but it gets a 7. Some white up in that corner up there, but you know. 67 Wahoo McDaniel went on to become a wrestler, pro wrestler. 4. I think I had this one pre-graded as like a 6 or a 7. I don't know what they saw to drop this all the way down to a 4. Corners are a little bit off. But, yeah. Don Drysdale with a 4. They're so rough on these 68s. It's hard to see them. You have to really look under the magnifying glass on these cards, especially around the edges, because you can't always tell how the border is supposed to look. They're very difficult. These cards can be tricky. And in the back with the yellows, just prone to chipping. Looks like they had that corner. I don't remember that corner being that soft right there. I'm not saying they caused that, but I don't know if I would have sent that in if it would look like that. Phil Necro, 4.5. He was in military service in 1963. This one here was one of the biggest surprises of the whole order. 69 Ernie Banks got an 8. That is an incredible grade. It looks a little bit, it is off-centered left to right, but they still gave that an 8. I was so happy to see that grade when it popped. That is incredible. Look at those corners and everything. It's just sharp. Beautiful copy of this card. I want to say, where did I get this? I can't remember if this was actually this might have been a crack out that I picked up at a card show that was in a SGC. I'm not certain now that I think about it. I'm gonna have to research this further. Check my data. 69 Willie Mays, PSA 1. PSA 1, look at those corners. Come on, that should be at least a 9. All right, Bob Gibson in a 5. They're always rough on this card. Whenever I send it in, this card doesn't usually grade well for me. Not this exact card. I'm gonna send in multiple different of that 69 Gibby. The 69 checklist with Mickey Mantle gets a 4. Obviously it's off center. Is it the angle of that? It looks like it's almost got a bit diamond cut on the, like it's way thinner down there by numbers 482, 483 than it is. Yeah, it is. Often they won't even slab a card like that, but I'm glad they did. 69 Willie Mays, last name in yellow, gets a 6. This was just a cheap one I picked up for a couple bucks, and I figured I would send it in because it looked pretty decent. 1970 Tom Seaver, PSA 7. Great card. These cards are easy to spot the flaws. '70 Joe Morgan in a 5. Not sure what the issue was with this. That line at the bottom is normal. It's off-centered, obviously, but not that bad. We got a stack of 71s here. Concepcion in a 4. They're really rough with 71s. I'm sure anybody that subbed them knows that. That's what a 4 looks like. I mean, if you think, oh, that should be a 7, nope. Look at it. There is a 4. Centering is pretty nice. No dings in the corner. The back. Decent. 4. Here's Pete Rose from 71. 5. Still not bad. I mean, I knew these grades going into it. I wasn't expecting 7s or anything because I know how they grade them. But this is just in case you're looking and thinking, why aren't these cards 7 or 8s? Or I'm expecting a 7 or 8 when I send mine in. No, not from 1971 Topps. You're not going to get it. I've sent in probably 100 different 71 Topps, and I think the highest I've got was an 8. Got a couple 8s on Don Sutton's, but those cards were insanely crisp. Pete Rose. One of the Ted Simmons, here's a 5. And another Ted and a 6. That 6 looks great. It's the bottom border obviously is what knocked that down. If it had more of a bottom border, it probably would have got a 7. That back's incredible. Let's look at those two again real quick here, the 6 and the 7. Yeah. Bottom border is too thick on this one, too thin on this one. Yeah, it didn't have a Goldilocks version. If we did, it would have got at least a 7. I think I had a 7 in the last order, and it was like a $200 card. Brooks Robinson gets a 4. And still, 4s look great for the 71s because it's so easy to get the black borders to chip. 4s are decent looking cards. I have a 2 coming up here in a minute. You'll see. I think it's either 1 or a 2. So you'll see what a really low grade can look like. Here's Gibby and a 5. Almost every Gibson card I sit in gets a 5, no matter what the year is. Gibson, grade 6. See those two side by side. 5 and a 6. The 5 has better centering, but the corners and all are better on the 6. Next up, Nolan Ryan. There's a 3. All right, now look at that. I was shocked that this got a 3. I thought this was gonna get like a 1, maybe a 2 with the way they grade these, because again, here, where's the 4? 5. Yeah, all right, here's a 4, and there's a 3. So 4, 3. Just not, I mean, it looks like a huge difference. And for it only to be the 1 number grade, I'm not complaining. I'm very happy with the 3 on the Nolan Ryan. I just would have thought these might have been a 5 or a 6, even higher, but no worries. I think 2 is the next one here. Yeah, Clemente and a 2. That's rough because there's like big crease down there in the bottom left. The corners obviously are disgusting. Back's not terrible. So let's see, 2, 3, 4. Let's just do that nice little comparison. So here's the difference between a 2 and a 3 that they saw. It's a huge difference. There's a huge difference. I mean, if just to get a 1, it seems like you just have to crumble the card in half in your hand. But yeah, there's a huge difference between a 2 and a 3. Huge difference between a 3 and a 4. The difference between a 4 and a 5 is almost minuscule. And the difference between a 5 and a 6 is basically the centering. Like, because honestly, the 6, like you said, the 6, the centering's not as good. The corners are actually, they just picking one of the subs to decide what they're going to go with, because it's not much different. The centering's better actually in the 5, but the corners and everything are a little bit worse on this. That one right there is what caused this to not go higher. But yeah, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right. Let's get out of our basic how to count to 10 and move on. 1972 LC Greenwood rookie gets a 6. Got a few football cards here thrown in, some Steelers coming up. Is that? No, this must be on the word, the N in outstanding there. It must be part of the card. Mean Joe Green gets a 7. It's really sharp. I think I picked up 2 of these or something at a show in Pittsburgh. And it was like $5 a piece or something, so nice surprise, or nicely happy with those. Steve Garvey 73 tops gets an 8. It's really, really good grade on that card. I mean, that's like perfectly centered. A little bit off top to bottom, which is probably what kept it from going any higher, because you can see the back is just about as sharp as it's gonna get. There's like nothing showing on those corners. Great card. Another one of the really difficult to grade sets, the 75. This is a mini Von Baylor. This one, I think I picked this up in one of the shows I was at in Florida, and it was like $1. The guy had a bunch of minis for $1, and this one looked pretty decent, so I decided to grab it. The centering's great. It's got a little white showing on this bottom corner there, but other than that, it wasn't too bad. I don't know why. I think he has or held at one point the record for the most times being hit by a pitch. Somehow that's one of those things that just sticking in my head. I'll have to check that, or somebody let me know. Robin Yount rookie gets a 6. This always throws me. I always think this is some print defect, but it's not. It's like a tower or something in the background of the card. I don't know where this was at. I'm guessing this is at one of the spring training sites, but yeah, not bad. The George Brett rookie in a 2. That card's always seen better days, but it's always good to slab up a George Brett rookie if you have one. One of the most iconic cards of all time. One of AL's finest rookies of 1974. Reggie Jackson, 1975, gets a 7. Perfectly centered, beautiful card. I don't remember what the issue was that kept that at a 7, at least what I would have thought. I actually think I had this pre-graded as an 8, so not bad. More Steel Curtain era Steelers here. Dwight White, 1975. I think this is his rookie card, even though it was like his 4th year, but I think this was the first card he had. Not bad. Lynn Swann, again, rookie, 1975, in a 5. Some Nolan Ryans, 1976, PSA 6. Babe Ruth, 1976, PSA 6, the Sporting News All-Time All-Stars. Just a cool card. Another Steeler, Jack Lambert, rookie, PSA 7. Little off center, top to bottom. That's what kept that card from going higher, because that card was in great shape. 1977 Nolan Ryan gets PSA 5. Tony Perez, 77, PSA 6. Look at my bat. Steve Largent, 77 tops, PSA 7. Card 177. PSA 7, 1977. Card 177, all full of 7s. All right, last few cards. 77 Walter Payton in a 7. That's such a cool card there. It's really cool. Reggie, 1978. Record breaker. Most home runs in one World Series with 5. I think Chase Utley and the Phillies I think he tied that in 2009. I'm a Phillies fan. I feel bad for not knowing 100% if that is true, but I'm pretty sure he did. PSA 8. Got a couple Thurman Munsons here. PSA 7. And PSA 7. Let's see. This one's way worse in the centering off left to right, but okay. Now we have a couple that I was a little surprised with. We got a 9 on the Andre Dawson, 78. I picked these up at a show, and the guy said he bought them from a guy who had them like stored away for like 30 years and they'd never been touched. So he had a bunch of these. He was only selling for like $5. So I got this one, the Joe Morgan, and some others that are coming up, and they looked incredible. I'm like, if a card from the 70s was ever gonna get a 10, it was gonna be these. I didn't get any 10s, but I did get a couple 9s here. This is just amazing. I mean, if they wanted to, they could have given this a 10. They just didn't want to. But yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this card. No nicks, no dings, no runs, no drips, no errors, nothing. It's beautiful. Same thing with the Morgan here. This one, I mean, it's just a little bit off center, I guess you could say, left to right, but not I mean, it could have been a 10 if they wanted. If this card came out this year, it would have been a 10. It's just beautiful. I mean, when I saw these cards, I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen cards this old in this good a condition. This Morgan as well. This one got an 8. This one's, you can see the top to bottom's a little bit off compared to the other one here. Yeah, that's why this one got the 8. Other than that, it's nearly perfect. And we have Walter Payton, PSA 7 for the 78. Thurman Munson and a 6. I just don't get his cards graded well for whatever reason. I don't know if they're just grading him so harshly. I had another one, they didn't grade it, came back miscut in this order. George Brett 79 gets an 8. This card's worth some decent money in higher grades. And then another one gets a 7. They're almost indistinguishable. All right, and the last card in this order is, yeah, we all know who it is, O.J. Simpson. Gets a 7 for the 1979 in the pre-White Ford Bronco days. O.J. has filmed 6 major motion pictures. Well, good for you, O.J. All right. That is what I got back in this order. Like I said, I had a few cards that they did not grade. I didn't want to film those, but let me know what you think, and thanks for watching. Bye.